everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a kind of get ready with me using products that I just never get use out of or that I've just never tried before. So we all have those products that kind of sit in our collection that we got that we may have used once or twice, and then we set them aside for some reason or another. So I have tons of products like that, and I want to make sure that I'm getting lots of use out of all of my makeup collection, since I did just do a massive declutter and I'm still posting videos on that. I will link that playlist up above if you guys want to watch that after you watch this. So I got rid of a lot of stuff that I wasn't using, but there's still products in my collection that I know that I like or that I know that I want to try, and of course I'm always buying new stuff to test out. So in this video I'm going to be doing just that. I've got some products that I just recently got that I've never tried. I've got some that I've used a couple times. I've got a couple that I used a long time ago, quite a bit, and I really enjoyed it, but I just haven't picked them up in a while. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel also so that you can be notified whenever I upload a new video, which I upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I would love to have more people subscribe to my channel because I love making these videos for you guys, and I want everyone to be able to see them and the work that I put into it. So tell your friends about me if you like these kind of videos, and let's just go ahead and get started. Alright, so starting out today, I'm going to be using my Hard Candy Matte Eyeshadow Pro Palette. This is available at Walmart, and I believe it's $10. And then I'm also going to be using the I'm Getting Sunburnt Trio by Wet n Wild. This is also available at Walmart. I've had these both for quite some time now, and I think I've only used each one once, so that's why I'm going to be using them today. They're not products that I've never tried, but I've only tried them one time. This palette does come with two double-ended brushes. I don't know how good they are or quality-wise. I think that you could use them in a pinch, but I'm not going to be using them today. So the first shade I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It's kind of just your average matte cream shade. Oh, these are all matte, by the way. And I'm just going to be putting this color all over the lid. You can kind of see the difference when I have one eye set with the powder. It just kind of makes everything look more even. Whereas on this side, you can still see some of my veins and things like that. And I didn't have a new eyeshadow primer to test out, so I just used my Milani eyeshadow primer. Alright, so my goal today is to incorporate this really beautiful gold color into my look. I was going to do something with the purple, but I have stuff to do tonight, and I thought it'd be a little bit out there for what I'm doing, so we're just going to go with gold. I'm just going to take some of this middle brown shade right here and put this all into my crease. Not being super specific, I'm using a really big fluffy brush here. The quality on these shadows is actually pretty good. Some of them are kind of hit and miss. I noticed when I was watching like other people's videos on this product that their eyeshadows seem to be more pigmented than mine, some of them anyway. So I don't know if like I just kind of got like a bad palette or what, but when you're paying this small amount of money for something like this, it's kind of, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit kind of thing. The thing I like about it is it's very versatile. It has lots of cool tones, lots of taupey kind of colors. It has a gray, has a light periwinkle kind of color, has some deeper purples. We might play with the deeper purple shade in my outer corner today. So I think this is a really good kind of palette that the drugstore really needed right now. There weren't a lot of matte palettes out yet, and since this one is all matte, and like I said, it has so many different versatile colors, I think it's really good, and it would go with any other kind of all shimmer palette that you might have from the drugstore, because I know that's kind of what tends to come out more frequently than this. Okay, and then just on a more defined brush, I am picking up this a little bit darker brown shade. And I always tap off the excess because these are kind of powdery. And I'm just kind of putting this on the outer lid and then kind of buffing it into the crease just a little bit. If you guys haven't seen my quick bronze glam makeup look, this is pretty similar to that. Similar technique anyway, not necessarily similar colors. Alright, then I'm just going to take a clean kind of fluffy brush and just go over everything before I get ready to add on this gold shade. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys a swatch of this really quickly because it's just so beautiful. I mean, look at that. It's so pretty, and like the quality of these is just absolutely unreal. Because I think that this is about $3 for this, and some places you can find it even cheaper. So I'm going to take this gold shade on my ring finger and just apply this all over my lid. And it'll probably have some fallout since I'm just picking it up with my finger, but that's okay. I haven't done any face makeup yet, and I'll just wipe it off with a makeup wipe. This shade does have a little bit of glitter in it. It's not 100% shimmer, so just be aware of that. If you don't like glitter in your eyeshadows, this one does have a little bit of glitter in it. I think it makes it look really pretty. Wet n Wild does have more palettes that have some golds in them, like the Comfort Zone palette, which I love, and that one has a little bit more of like a muted shimmers in it. Alright, now I'm just going to be taking this kind of royal purple color here. There is a deeper purple right there. I think I might put on my lower lash line or something like that. We'll see how this one looks first. See how pigmented it is. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I don't think on the eyes it translates as purple. It looks almost like a charcoal gray kind of color, but we're going to roll with it. That's alright. Every look doesn't have to be the best look in the world, right? I'm going to take that clean brush again and just go over the edges. Alright, so I just applied some of this gold to this flat brush here, and I'm just going to spray it really quickly. And you can see right off the bat just how much more pigmented this eye is than this eye once I do that step. So I like to go with my finger first just for placement, because when you spray a eyeshadow with any kind of spray, like this is the Mario Badescu facial spray. You can spray it with a normal setting spray, MAC Fix Plus, anything like that. It kind of tends to make it a little bit more budge proof, so you don't have as much time to blend it out or anything like that. So that's why I like to place it with my finger first and then do this step. Bonus, it feels really nice to work with wet brushes because they feel really cooling on your eyelid. And if you live anywhere like here in Kansas where it's super hot in the summertime, this will feel very nice. Alright, so I think I'm just going to kind of blend these out, and then I'll just be done with my eyes for today. I really love the Wet n Wild palette. The Hard Candy one, the All Matte palette, I'm still not 100% sold on. I think it works as what it claims to be, which is an all matte palette, and it does have very versatile colors. If you can get a palette that has every single shade, is the same pigmentation, the same quality level, then I think it's going to be great. But like I said, some of my colors aren't as pigmented as others, or they don't blend as well, so it's kind of hit and miss for me. So I have quite a bit of glitter fallout. You probably can't see it on camera. I'm just going to take a makeup wipe and wipe that away real quick. And I kind of like to use the makeup wipe too, to make this line a little bit more crisp. Since I don't typically, well, I don't ever wear winged eyeliner, so this is kind of like my sharper edge there. While that kind of dries underneath my eye there, I'm going to go wet my beauty sponge. I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Beauty Sponge. Now this one I have used quite a bit, but I got it probably a couple months ago when it first released, and I used it for a couple weeks, like solid, and I really enjoyed it, but then for some reason it got dirty, so I washed it, and then I used my Beauty Blender, and then I went back to my Beauty Blender, so today I'm going to use this one again and see if I still feel the same way about it. Alright, so for primer, I'm going to be using the NYX Pore Filler Primer. I haven't even taken this out of the box yet. Let's see. I got this at Target, and this is what it looks like. So I've heard lots of great things about this. I don't have huge pores, but I just have lots of, I don't want to say texture. I'm not really porous. I just have lots of like little, I don't really know how to describe it. It's just, I guess, texture. But let's try this out here. Oh, it kind of comes out in like a colored consistency. I'm not really sure how much to use. Oh, I have a feeling I might have gotten too much. We'll see. So I'm just going to kind of apply it to where this needs filled in, and for me that's kind of like on my cheeks and even under my eye a little bit. And I know a lot of these pore filling primers tend to dry your face out, so we are going to see if it does that to me. I put some on my chin. I can definitely see it mattifying my skin right away. I mean, if you can see how kind of shiny my forehead is right now, and once I apply the primer, it's automatically mattified. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if this will keep me more matte throughout the day and not as oily. It definitely makes my skin feel super soft. So we will see how it wears underneath my foundation. And the foundation I'm going to be using today is the No. 7 Stay Perfect foundation. I have mine in the shade Cool Ivory, I want to say. Yeah, Cool Vanilla. That's the shade I have. It seems to be a really good match for me. I've used it twice now, and I do really like it. I used it with 2 different primers, and it wore better one day. So I don't know if it was a primer that I used, but we'll see how it wears today. It seems to be kind of a luminous finish, and I use about 2 pumps. And I just kind of dot this all over my face. It has a medium coverage, from what I would say. It doesn't cover up everything. I actually haven't tried to build this up yet. I don't know if I'm going to do that today or not. Just because I don't typically need a full coverage. I do have quite a bit of redness and things like that, but I don't always mind when that shows through a little bit. You can see it covering that up though pretty quickly. And I always try to blend it down the neck. In terms of application, this sponge is very comparable to the Beauty Blender, and I definitely think that it's worth it. It's about $7, so it's quite a bit cheaper than the Beauty Blender. My only thing with it is that it doesn't feel as soft as the Beauty Blender. The texture of the sponge is soft, but this is a little bit denser than the Beauty Blender. So, and it's a little bit bigger too, so it's kind of hard to get into some of the smaller places, like for me around my brows. Since I do my brows first, I try not to cover those up if I don't have to. Alright, let's see. I am going to try to build this up just a little bit more. I'm just going to do 1 pump and just kind of put it in the places I feel like need a little more loving. I feel like this does oxidize just a touch. So I might have been able to go up one shade, but when I'm applying it, this seems like it's the perfect shade match, so I'm just not sure about that. But I don't feel like this sponge soaks up excess product by any means. I actually think it's really good in terms of that. You just kind of have to make sure to get all of the excess water out of it after you get it damp. Yeah, so I think this is building up. It definitely covered more of my redness. You can still see some of my freckles, and that's totally okay with me. I don't mind that. God gave them to me, so I might as well show them off, right? I thought it was so funny when my cousin did my makeup and she's putting on concealer, and you know, we commonly think of concealer as covering up blemishes. Well, I don't have acne or anything like that, so I just typically use it to highlight my face. And she started covering up like this one right here and this one right here, and I was like, no, I like those. That's okay, you can keep them. We should just learn to embrace the beauty marks that God gave us. Alright, so as you guys can see, this is a pretty luminous finish. When I first got it, when it said it was, you know, full coverage, gonna last all day, I thought it would just be matte. I mean, that's kind of how it seems to be now. The newer foundations that are coming out are just matte finishes. But this one I think looks really pretty on the skin. If you do have oily skin, I have oily skin for the most part in my T-zone. I have dryness here and here. So I guess I have combo skin, but my skin is definitely oily here. And I noticed that my oils seep throughout the day, but it doesn't break up the foundation. So I think even though it's luminous, you could definitely pull this off if you have oily skin and if you like this kind of finish. So for concealer, I'm going to be using the Milani Retouch and Erase Concealer, and I have mine in the shade Fair. This is the lightest shade they have. I've used this probably 2 or 3 times now, I think. So I'm not 100% sure about it. It's definitely pretty full coverage. And like I said earlier, I just kind of use this to highlight the face. I look pretty crazy right now. And this is not a matte concealer either. This has some luminosity to it, but after I set everything down with powder, I think it just kind of gives the skin a healthy finish. Like I said earlier, it is a little bit difficult to get around the nose with this sponge. I think I always forget how full coverage it is. I probably didn't need near this much. But I got this much, so. I'm gonna have to get really close to my mirror here. It does blend out really nicely though. And the good thing about it being kind of more luminous is it definitely doesn't dry my under eyes out, so that's awesome. Okay, so I think that covered up any dark circles that I had. I think it looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and set my under eyes with this CoverGirl Advanced Radiance powder. This is not new. I love this stuff. And then I'm going to set the rest of my face with the e.l.f. Prime and Stay Finishing Powder. Also not new. Also love this stuff. So I will be right back. Okay, so after I've powdered, you can kind of see it still has a little bit of luminosity in my skin, but it definitely set the makeup into place, and it's going to help it last all day long. So for bronzer today, I'm actually going to be using a face powder that I got at the Dollar Tree. This is the LA Colors Press Powder in the shade Tan. I thought it'd be a really nice kind of light bronzer color. I don't know if it'll show up on my skin or not. We're just going to test this out. It was only $1. And I've tried their pressed powders before by LA Colors and I really enjoyed them, so I thought I might give this a try. It feels super soft. Oh yeah, I think that's definitely bronzing up my skin a little bit. Very natural, so if you have around my skin tone, this might be a really good bronzer for you. Oh yeah, that looks nice. You can see the difference here and here. I think it's very subtle, but it definitely gives that kind of sun-kissed look that we tend to go for in the summertime. And if you're fair skinned like I am, it's kind of hard sometimes to not get too orangey looking with your bronzers, so I think that this is a really good option since it was made for a skin color. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. And the best thing is it's not a completely matte finish either. It's kind of a satin. So I think that looks really good on the skin. Alright, so for contour today, I'm going to be using the Rimmel by Kate Moss little trio that I got for my $20 makeup challenge. I don't really remember it too much from that challenge since that was the only time I ever tried it. So I'm just going to be using this color today for my contour. And we're going to see how it looks. It seems to be very pigmented. It's not the best contour in the world. It will definitely do. I think this might be a little bit better for somebody with a little bit deeper skin tone than I have. But it did hollow out my cheekbones a little bit. So, it's okay. And then for blush today, I'm going in with another item that I got from Dollar Tree. This is by Beauty Benefits, and it's their bronzer. I made Ian guess how much this one cost in the Husband Guesses My Makeup Prices challenge. And he guessed that this was $6, but it was only $1. It feels really great. It's marketed as a bronzer, like I said, but it has kind of a peachy undertone to it, so I'm going to use it as a blush. I've not used this yet. It's very pigmented, very soft, similar to that LA Colors powder. Oh yeah, this is my kind of blush. Something that's very bronzed, but still gives life to the skin. I think that's really pretty. And this is also similar to that LA Colors one because it's not completely matte either. It's kind of satin, so you can see a little bit of glow happening, which I love that. So I really like this too as a blush. Go Dollar Tree. I think Dollar Tree is winning this makeup look today. Now for the highlight, I'm going to be using the new Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter that everybody loves. The formula is very different on this. It's almost like wet feeling to the touch, but it doesn't feel like a cream. It's just very firmly pressed, but you can see a lot comes off on my hand. This is some very pigmented stuff. You could definitely use it as an eyeshadow even. And when I got this, I was afraid that this would be too dark for my skin tone. This is actually really similar to that color I have on my eyes today. When I first got this, I thought it might be too dark for my skin tone, but I've used it one other time and it worked out okay. So we're going to try it again today and see. I think if you have a medium skin tone, you would love this so much because I think at the drugstore, I think it's a little bit harder to find highlighters for deeper skin tones. It seems like a lot of times they're that icy pink kind of highlight. So, woo! You definitely don't need much. And if you do have a lot of texture on your skin, this will tend to highlight that. so you might want to watch out for that. But I do think that this is really pretty, really beautiful for summertime. This side's a little bit not blending out quite as easily, but man, you cannot argue with that. That is a good product. Most of these products that I've used today, they feel like totally high-end products that I have, so I think that's really awesome. I'm going to go pretty light on the under eye today, and I'm just going to take that very first shade that we used and just buff it underneath my lower lash line. And I'm actually going to use the brush that came in here. This one is the more fluffy brush. We'll see what they're made of. I'm not as picky for brushes on my lower lash line as I am for my lids, so I'm not too picky, like I said. I think this actually works pretty good. I think this brush would also work really good for like crease detailing. And this color in the palette is actually really good quality. Has really good pigmentation, and it's super easy to blend. And I don't think I'm going to do like an inner corner highlight today, just to keep it a little more subtle. Alright, so for mascara, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Max Volume Plus mascara. Again, I got this for my $20 makeup challenge, and I only used it that one time, so we're going to see how I feel about it again today. I think I said this in the video, but it is a more wet formula, so you have to be a little bit more careful. And I didn't build it up very much in my makeup challenge, so I'm gonna try to do that today. Whew. Trying to do my lower lashes in focus doesn't work. For being a wet formula, it does dry fairly quickly, so that's good. And I always wait a second after I do the back side of my lashes to kind of let it dry a little bit, and then I comb through them one more time. So I think my thoughts on this are that it gives quite a lot of volume, which it claims to do. It doesn't give a lot of length, and it does kind of make my lashes look a little bit clumpy, which I don't have a huge problem with, but it's definitely not my favorite mascara in the world. For $5 though, this is one of the better mascaras I've tried in that price range. So, alright, so I think we are ready to move on to lips. So I have never used this lip liner before. It is by NYX, and it is their Slide On Glide On. Let me try that again. It is their Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, and definitely a turn on waterproof extreme color lip liner. And that is the full title. And I have mine in the shade Nude Suede Shoes, which is one of the most raved about colors. It says this lip liner is so good the name had to be this long. So we will see if it holds up to that claim. This is what it looks like. I have swatched it on the back of my hand before, that's why it looks used, but I have not used it on my lips, so we shall see. It does slide on really nicely. And the color is kind of like a My Lips But Better kind of color, so I really like that too. I can also feel this kind of starting to dry down almost too. And I think you could definitely wear this by itself as well. But I'm also going to be trying the Maybelline New York Superstay Matte Ink Liquid Lipstick. And I've tried this one time. I really did like it, but I want to wear it a little bit longer this time. The first time I wore it, I didn't need to wear it that long. So I'm really going to test the staying power tonight. It does feel a little bit like a cream formula when you put it on. Definitely not your typical liquid lipstick formula. And one con that a lot of people have with this lipstick is that it feels kind of sticky on the lips. And it does feel sticky for a while, but it does end up drying all the way down. So you just kind of have to be patient with it. It's not a super quick dry down like the Kat Von D liquid lipsticks or the Wet n Wild liquid lipsticks. So, and you can see when I put my lips together, it is definitely sticking to my lips, but you know, like I said, it is definitely going to dry down all the way. So, lastly, I'm going to be testing out the Milani Make It Last Setting Spray. I've heard nothing but good things about this. I have been on several trips to different Walmarts, different places that carry Milani to try to find this, and I couldn't. And then, all of a sudden today, I saw like 5 of them in my Walmart, so I picked up only one. I asked Ian if I could get 2, and he was like, no, you just need 1, so I only got 1. But that is kind of what inspired me to do this look today, so let's test this out. I haven't even opened it yet. I know everyone is raving about how great the spritzer on this is, so I'm excited to see that too. So it's actually a little bit smaller than I thought it was going to be. I thought the bottle would be bigger, but you still get 2 ounces. And comparing it to something like the Mario Badescu spray where you get 4 ounces, it is quite a little bit smaller than that. So let's see what the mister looks like. Oh, that's nice. Let's test this baby out. That feels good. And then I just like to pounce that kind of into my skin, just to kind of settle the powders a little bit more. Okay, you guys, so here's the finished look. I really actually love how it turned out. I think all the products I really enjoyed. The only thing that I'm just on the fence about is the eyeshadow palette, the matte one by Hard Candy. I just think it's hit or miss, so if you get a good palette, then you're really lucky. Definitely the winners for me today were these 2 products from the Dollar Tree. This one that I use as a blush, and then this that I use as a bronzer. I think it looks so good on my skin. It doesn't look splotchy at all. It looks just very sun-kissed, healthy looking. I really enjoy it, and these are super affordable, obviously. So if you have a Dollar Tree nearby, definitely go and grab these. I think they're so good. Okay, so that is it. If you guys like these kind of videos, be sure to give this one a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you leave, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.